let me ask you a question. Have you ever been reading something in English, maybe a news article or a book, and everything is going well, you understand the sentences, but then suddenly you hit one word you don't know? It's like hitting a brick wall. That one single unknown word stops you completely. You lose your confidence, you get frustrated, and you can't understand the rest of the sentence. Does that sound familiar? This is a very common feeling, especially in the IELTS reading test, where you will see many academic and difficult words. Many students believe that the only way to get a good score is to memorize thousands and thousands of words, like memorizing a whole dictionary. But I have some good news for you. That is not the best way. Building your vocabulary is one of the most important things you can do to improve your reading score, but you need to be smart about it. It's not about memorizing a dictionary. It's about being strategic. This means learning the right words and learning the right skills. So in this video, we are going to learn a powerful two-part strategy for vocabulary. Part 1, I will show you which words are the most useful to learn, the words that will give you the most benefit for your study time. Part 2, and this is maybe even more important, I will teach you the amazing skill of guessing the meaning of words you don't know. We are going to learn how to become a word detective. Are you ready to build your word power? Let's begin. Okay, let's start with our first strategy, being smart about what you learn. Imagine you have 100 hours to study vocabulary. You could try to learn 5,000 random English words. You might learn the word pineapple, sofa, or bicycle. These are good words, but how often will you see them in an academic text about, for example, climate change or ancient history? Maybe not very often. Now imagine you use those 100 hours to learn the words that appear again and again and again in academic texts. Words like analyze, theory, factor, evidence. You would see these words everywhere. This is what we mean by being strategic. You should focus your energy on the words that appear most often. So how do we know which words are the most common? Luckily, some very clever researchers have done the hard work for us. They created something called the Academic Word List, which we call the AWL for short. The AWL is a fantastic list of 570 word families that are incredibly common in academic writing. These are the words used in university textbooks, in scientific articles, and, you guessed it, in almost every single IELTS reading passage you will ever see. Learning words from the AWL is like getting a master key that can unlock hundreds of different doors. You don't need to learn all 570 word families at once. That would be too much. But by starting with the most frequent ones, the ones in sublist 1 of the AWL, you are learning the essential keys that will help you understand almost every academic text you encounter. This is the smartest way to begin building your vocabulary. So, where should you start? Here are 10 absolutely essential words from the Academic Word List to get you started on your journey. Let's look at them together. Words like analyze, which means to study something closely. Factor, which means something that causes a result. Issue, which means an important problem. And major, which means very big or very important. I promise you, if you start reading academic articles today, you will see most of these 10 words. They are everywhere. To help you, we have created a special, free, downloadable PDF document. It's a starter pack with 20 of the most useful AWL words. For each word, we give you the meaning, different forms of the word like analysis and analyze, and several clear example sentences. The link to download it is waiting for you in the description box right below this video. Your first mission is to make these words your new best friends. Learn them, use them, and love them. Now, as you start learning these important new words, you need a system. You need a place to keep them organized. Your most powerful tool for this is a vocabulary notebook.
This can be a physical notebook and a pen, or it can be a digital note-taking app on your phone or computer, like Google Keep, Evernote, or Notion. It doesn't matter what you use. What matters is how you use it. A bad vocabulary notebook is just a long list of words with a translation in your own language. This is not very effective. A good vocabulary notebook is one where you really interact with the word. Look at the example on the screen. For every new word you learn, I want you to create 4 columns. Column 1, the word itself. For example, analyze. Column 2, the meaning in simple English. Don't just write the dictionary definition. Try to explain the word to yourself in very easy English. For analyze, you could write, to study something carefully. Column 3, the example sentence. Find the sentence where you first saw the word and copy it. This shows you how the word is used in real life. And column 4, the most important step of all, your own sentence. You must create your own new sentence using the word. This sentence should be true for you and your life. For example, I need to analyze my mistakes to improve my IELTS score. Why is this last step so important? Because when you create your own sentence, you are forcing your brain to actively use the word. You are connecting the word to your own life and your own memories. This active learning process is what helps move the word from your short-term memory, where you forget it tomorrow, to your long-term memory, where you remember it forever. So please, start your vocabulary notebook today, and remember to review it regularly, maybe for 5 minutes every morning.
Okay, we have talked about our first strategy, proactively learning the most important words from the AWL. That is fantastic. But we need to be realistic. I'm going to tell you a secret. You will never, ever know every single word in the IELTS reading test. It's impossible. Even I, as a native English speaker, sometimes see a very specific scientific or historical word that I don't know. So what happens when you are in the middle of the test and you see a word you don't know? Do you panic? Do you give up on that sentence? No. This is where our second strategy comes in, and this is perhaps the most important, most useful reading skill you can learn. The skill is guessing the meaning from context. What is context? The context is simply the other words and sentences that are around the unknown word. These other words are your clues. They are like fingerprints at the scene of a crime. Your job is to become a word detective. You don't panic. You put on your detective hat, you take out your magnifying glass, and you look for clues. By looking at the clues in the context, you can often make a very good guess about the general meaning of the word you don't know.
Let's be a detective together. Let's look at our first case. Imagine you are reading and you see this sentence. The journey up the mountain was very perilous. Maybe you have never seen the word perilous before. Your brain might want to panic, but stop. Let's look for clues. Let's read the rest of the sentence. What information does it give us? The sentence says several climbers were injured. Okay, injured is a negative word. It also says there were falling rocks. That sounds very bad. And it says there were icy conditions. That also sounds bad. So all the clues in the sentence, people getting hurt, rocks falling, and ice, are they positive or negative? They are all very negative and very dangerous. So we can make a very good guess that perilous must be a negative word. It probably means something like dangerous or full of risk or unsafe. And if you guessed that, you would be 100% correct. Perilous means very dangerous. Do you see what we did? We didn't need a dictionary. We used the clues in the rest of the sentence to understand the unknown word.
This is being a word detective.
Sometimes the writer of the text helps you directly. They give you a huge clue that an explanation is coming. Let's look at our second case. Read this sentence. The ancient city was immense. Okay, maybe you don't know the word immense, but look at what comes next. The sentence continues. In other words, its sheer size was breathtaking, stretching for miles in every direction. The phrase, "in other words," is a giant clue from the writer. It's like the writer is saying, hey, maybe you didn't understand that last word. Let me explain it to you in a simpler way. Other similar clue phrases are "that is," "meaning," or when the writer uses punctuation like brackets or dashes to explain a word or phrase. So, the text itself tells us that immense has something to do with its sheer size and the fact that it was stretching for miles. So, what does immense mean? It must mean very, very big or huge. And that's exactly right. This is a very common technique in academic writing. Writers often use a difficult, formal word, and then they explain it in a simpler way. Your job as a detective is to look for these helpful clue phrases.
Okay, you have learned the basic techniques of a word detective. Now it's your turn to practice. I am going to show you a sentence with a difficult, highlighted word. I want you to pause the video and use the clues in the sentence to guess its meaning. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, how did you do? Let's break down the clues together. The biggest clue in this sentence is the first part, unlike her brother. The word unlike tells us that Maria is the opposite of her brother. So, what is her brother like? He is loud and sociable. Sociable means he likes to be with people and talk. So if Maria is the opposite of loud and sociable, she must be quiet and not sociable. The sentence gives us another huge clue at the end. It says she rarely spoke in public. Rarely means not often. So she doesn't talk much. With these two big clues, we can be very confident that taciturn means something like quiet or not talkative. And that is exactly what it means. Great job, detective! Okay, detective, let's look at our final case for today. How did you do with this one? This sentence has a fantastic clue at the end. After the comma, it says, the new data confirmed his initial results. The word confirmed means to prove that something is true. The sentence structure here tells us that the second part of the sentence is explaining the first part. The new data did something that confirmed the results. Therefore, the word corroborated must mean something very similar to confirmed. It means to support with new evidence, to prove something is true. Do you see how powerful this skill is? You can learn the meaning of a new, difficult word without ever leaving the text. This is a skill you must practice every day. So, let's summarize your complete two-part strategy for mastering IELTS vocabulary. It's a combination of being proactive and being reactive. First, you must be proactive. This is the work you do before the test. You actively learn the high-frequency words from the academic word list. You use your vocabulary notebook every day, and you review it regularly. This builds your foundation. It's like putting money in the bank. Second, you must learn the reactive skill. This is what you do during the test when you face a challenge. When you see an unknown word, you don't panic. You stay calm and you use your detective skills to guess the meaning from the context. This is your emergency tool that you can use anytime, anywhere. This combination of preparing well before the test and having the right skills during the test is what will make you a confident and successful reader. Building a strong vocabulary is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a journey, not a destination. You don't need to learn 100 words a day. It is much better to learn 5 new words and use them properly. Start with the small, consistent habits we've discussed today. And please, don't forget to download the free AWL Starter Pack from the description below this video. It's a great way to begin your journey. If this video was helpful and you learned a new strategy, please show your support by giving it a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next lesson. We will be tackling the famous and feared true, false, not given questions. Thank you so much for your time and your hard work today. I'll see you in the next lesson.